You step onto the plane, smiling politely, ticket in hand, carry-on behind you. You're not trying to cause trouble. You're not trying to slow anyone down. You're just trying to find your seat, settle in, and get through another flight without stress. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Some of the things passengers do every day, even kind, respectful, experienced passengers, can make a flight attendant's job much harder than you realize. Maybe it's stopping in the aisle for just a second. Maybe it's pressing the call button at the wrong time. Maybe it's asking for help with a bag that's too heavy, standing near the galley to stretch your legs, or complaining to the crew about delays they had no power to prevent. To you, these moments may seem small. To the crew, they can affect safety timing service and the entire mood of the flight. And most passengers never know they're doing anything wrong because flight attendants are trained to smile through it. In this video, we're going to uncover the things flight crews quietly wish passengers would stop doing, and more importantly, what you should do instead, so your next flight feels smoother, safer, and far less stressful. Some of these may surprise you. One might even make you rethink how you board a plane forever. Let's begin with the mistake that happens before the aircraft even leaves the gate, and it can slow down the entire flight. Number 1. Blocking the aisle during boarding. The first thing flight attendants wish passengers would stop doing happens before the plane even leaves the gate, standing in the aisle while figuring everything out. You board the aircraft. You stop near the front. You check your boarding pass again. You remove your jacket. You look up at the overhead bin. Maybe you start rearranging your bag because the item you need is buried at the bottom. It feels harmless. Maybe it only takes 10 seconds. But behind you, the entire boarding line has stopped. And on a full flight, those seconds matter. Boarding is not a relaxed process for the crew. Flight attendants are watching the cabin, checking overhead space, helping passengers who need assistance, making sure bags are stowed safely, and trying to get everyone seated before the door closes. A small delay in the aisle can ripple through the whole aircraft. If boarding slows down too much, the plane can miss its departure window, which may lead to a longer delay on the ground. So here's the better move before you step onto the plane. Already know your seat number. Have your jacket off or ready. Keep the item you need for the flight in your hand, not buried inside your carry-on. When you reach your row, step into it first. Let people pass. Then place your bag overhead, sit down, and adjust later. And if someone is sitting in your seat, stay calm. Say, "Excuse me, I think I'm in 18A. Would you mind checking your boarding pass?" That one sentence keeps the situation polite, quick, and stress-free. Because the best passenger is not the one who boards perfectly. It's the one who keeps the line moving. Number 2. Using the call button at the worst possible time. The next mistake is not just annoying for flight attendants, it can actually put them at risk. It happens during taxi takeoff or landing. Maybe the plane is moving toward the runway, and you suddenly realize you want a glass of water. Maybe your phone slipped under the seat. Maybe you forgot to ask for a blanket. So you press the call button assuming it is no big deal. But to the crew, that sound means one thing: something might be wrong. During taxi takeoff and landing, flight attendants are supposed to be seated, strapped into their jump seats and ready for an emergency. These are some of the most critical moments of the flight. If something happens, they may only have seconds to respond. So when a passenger presses the call button during that time, the crew has to make a quick decision. Is someone having chest pain? Is someone unable to breathe? Is there a real emergency? Or is it just a request that could have waited? If it is not urgent, wait until the seatbelt sign is off and the aircraft is safely in the air. A good rule is this: if you would not call emergency services for it on the ground, do not ring the call button during takeoff, taxi, or landing. Of course, if someone is seriously ill, having an allergic reaction, struggling to breathe, or facing a real danger, press it immediately. That is exactly what it is for. But for water bags, phones, blankets, or simple questions, wait. Because one small button press can force a flight attendant to choose between helping you and protecting everyone's safety. Number 3. Asking flight attendants to lift your carry-on bag. This is one of the most misunderstood moments on a plane. A passenger walks down the aisle with a heavy carry-on, reaches the seat, looks up at the overhead bin, and realizes the bag is harder to lift than expected. So they turn to the flight attendant and ask, "Can you help me put this up?" Most passengers ask kindly. They are not trying to be rude. But what many people do not realize is that lifting passenger bags is not really the flight attendant's job. Flight attendants are there for safety first. During boarding, they are watching the cabin, managing flow, checking that bags are stored correctly, helping passengers find their seats, and preparing the aircraft for departure. If they lift heavy bags over and over, day after day, it can cause serious shoulder, neck, and back injuries. Some crew members have had careers damaged because of repeated lifting. So, here is the simple rule. If you cannot lift your carry-on into the overhead bin by yourself, it may be too heavy to bring on board that way. The better choice is to check it, pack lighter, or ask the airline before your flight about boarding assistance if you have a mobility limitation or medical need. And if you do need help, ask the right person before boarding begins, not a flight attendant already trying to manage a full aircraft. That way, your bag gets handled safely, the crew is not put at risk, and boarding keeps moving for everyone. Number 4. Standing in the galley or crowding the lavatory area. Once the plane is in the air, many passengers naturally want to stretch their legs. That is understandable, especially on a long flight. But one place flight attendants wish passengers would stop gathering is the galley. The small workspace where crew prepare drinks, meals, trash bags, carts, and service items. To passengers, it may look like an open area. To the crew, it is their working space. When someone stands there to stretch, wait for the restroom, or start a casual conversation, it can block the crew from doing their job. They may need to pull out a cart, heat food, organize drinks, or move quickly through the cabin. If the area is crowded, everything becomes harder. There is also a safety issue. Turbulence can happen without warning. And if you are standing in the galley near metal carts, hot coffee, sharp edges, and narrow spaces, you could get hurt very quickly. The lavatory area is another problem. When several passengers wait right outside the restroom, they block the aisle and create pressure in one of the tightest areas of the plane. So what should you do instead? If the restroom is occupied, return to your seat and try again in a few minutes. If you need to stretch, walk the aisle briefly when it is safe, then sit back down. And when the seatbelt sign comes on, do not wait. Return to your seat immediately. The galley is not a lounge. The lavatory area is not a waiting room. Respecting that space makes the flight safer, smoother, and easier for everyone on board. Number 5. Blaming the crew for things they cannot control. This mistake is very common because travel stress can make anyone frustrated. Your flight is delayed. You may miss a connection. The weather is bad. Your seat was changed. The gate moved. Your bag fee was higher than expected. By the time you finally step onto the plane, you are tired, upset, and looking for someone to explain what happened. And often the first person you see is the flight attendant. But here is the truth. Flight attendants do not control the weather. Maintenance delays gate assignments, ticket prices, seat changes, baggage fees, or airline policies. They usually find out many of these things at the same time passengers do. They are not the people who caused the delay. Many times, they are affected by it too. They may be working a longer day, missing their own connection, or dealing with a tight schedule just like everyone else. So when passengers unload their anger on the crew, it does not fix the problem. It only adds pressure to people who are already trying to keep the flight safe and organized. You can still ask for help. You can still be upset. But the way you say it matters. A better phrase is, "I know this isn't your fault. Can you tell me who I should speak with about this?" That one sentence changes everything. It shows respect, keeps the conversation calm, and helps the crew guide you toward the right person. Usually a gate agent, customer service desk, or airline support line. Flight attendants can help with many things on board, but they cannot undo a storm repair an aircraft or rewrite airline policy from the aisle. Treating them like allies instead of targets makes the entire flight feel less tense. Number 6. Ignoring the safety demonstration. This one may seem small, but it matters more than most passengers think. Before takeoff, the crew begins the safety demonstration. Some passengers keep talking. Some scroll on their phones. Some dig through their bags. Others stare straight ahead, acting like they have heard it all before. And maybe they have. But every aircraft is a little different. Exit locations can change. Safety cards can change. Oxygen mask instructions, flotation devices, and emergency procedures may not be exactly the same from one plane to another. Flight attendants are not doing the demo for decoration. They are required to give it, and in a real emergency, those few seconds of attention can make a difference. The bigger problem is this: when one person talks loudly or ignores the demonstration, it encourages other people to treat it like background noise too. That creates a cabin full of passengers who may not know what to do when seconds matter. You do not have to stare intensely at the crew the entire time. But at least pause your conversation. Lower your phone, look up, and listen. It takes less than 2 minutes, and those 2 minutes could help you find the nearest exit. Understand how to use the oxygen mask or react faster if something unexpected happens. To the crew, paying attention is not just polite. It shows that you understand they are safety professionals, not just people serving drinks. Number 7. Walking past the crew without acknowledging them. This last one is not about rules baggage or safety procedures. It is about something much simpler. Basic respect. When you step onto a plane, the flight attendant at the door usually smiles and says, "Welcome aboard," or "Good morning." Many passengers walk right past without looking up. They are not trying to be rude. They may be checking their phone, looking for their seat, thinking about their luggage, or worrying about a connection. But after greeting hundreds of people on a full flight, being ignored again and again can feel surprisingly draining for the crew. Flight attendants are not asking for a long conversation. They do not need your life story at the aircraft door. But a simple hello, a smile, or even brief eye contact can make a real difference. It reminds the crew that you see them as people, not just part of the airplane. And here is something many passengers forget: the crew remembers kindness, not because they are playing favorites, but because respectful passengers naturally make the job feel lighter. The person who says hello, listens during the safety demo, waits before pressing the call button, and boards without blocking the aisle is the kind of passenger every flight attendant appreciates. So before your next flight, try this. When the crew greets you, look up and say hello back. It takes 3 seconds. But in a long day, full of pressure delays and hundreds of faces, those 3 seconds can mean more than you think. Most passengers are not trying to make a flight attendant's job harder. They are simply focused on getting settled, protecting their belongings, reaching their destination, and avoiding another stressful travel day. But once you understand what is happening from the crew's side, flying starts to look different. That short pause in the aisle can slow down boarding. That call button during takeoff can create a safety risk. That heavy carry-on can injure someone whose job depends on staying physically able to work. Standing near the galley can block the crew's workspace. Complaining to the flight attendant about delays can place frustration on the one person who probably wants the plane moving just as much as you do. And sometimes, the smallest thing, looking up, smiling, saying hello, can change the feeling of the entire flight. So before your next trip, remember this: be prepared before boarding. Wait when it is safe to wait. Ask the right person for the right help. Respect the crew's space and treat flight attendants like the safety professionals they are. You do not have to be a perfect passenger. You just have to be aware. And if this video helped you see flying differently, subscribe to Flying After 60 for more practical travel tips, airport advice, and flight lessons that can make your next journey smoother, safer, and far less stressful. See you in the next video.